Hi, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst with Money Markets here with your weekly marijuana market update. Now, make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notified each and every time we put out a new video. We've got a lot of great features. We've got Ask Adam Anything. We have Investing with Charles. We have a podcast, The Bull and the Bear. And all these series are on our YouTube channel, and they are there for you to watch for free. We're looking at adding some more as well, so make sure you check back and find out more about what we have on tap. And I do want to make sure you check out our premium investment service, which is Green Zone Fortunes. This is where Adam O'Dell, our chief investment strategist, co-editor Charles Sizemore, myself, and our entire team, we work very hard to give you in-depth analysis, insights, and stock picks that we know are going to bust the market wide open and give you phenomenal gains for your portfolio. We'll put a link up top here so you can find out more about Green Zone Fortunes. Now, today, I'm going to circle back to a segment of the cannabis industry, which is not really cannabis, but it's kind of related. But it interests me. And even though its performance really hasn't been that great. Now, late last summer, I responded to a viewer question about investing in the psychedelic industry as it relates to cannabis. Now, at the time, only Oregon had some kind of legislation regarding legalizing or decriminalizing mainly the use of psychedelics. Fast forward to today, and I looked at our website called Psilocybin Alpha, and there are 23 states right now with either some form of decriminalization or pending legislation regarding the use of psychedelics. There's actually even some cities that have adopted ordinances related to decriminalization or low priority for police, things like that, that put the use of psychedelics in a more favorable light. 13 states, including here in Florida, my home state of Kansas, Oklahoma, New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Utah, Maine, several others. They have active legislation circulating through their respective houses of government to decriminalize the use of psychedelics. So it's been an interesting development in the psychedelic sector over the last several months. But something came up a few weeks ago that kind of grabbed my attention. Florida-based Elemental Advisors Incorporated launched the first listed psychedelic exchange-traded fund, or ETF. It's called the Psych ETF. It trades on the New York Stock Exchange. The ticker is PSYK, so Psych. I don't know if anyone remembers back in the 80s when that used to be a big thing to say when you were trying to fake someone out, but apparently they're capitalizing on it with a ticker symbol. Now, today I want to dive a little bit more into this ETF and some of its holdings to see if there's some potential investment value. So let's look at the broader ETF first. The fund tracks the performance of the Enhanced Consciousness Index, and I didn't even know what that was a thing until I started doing some research. Now, the index is made up of companies that are involved in research, development, production, and or the use of psychedelics to treat medical conditions in legal application under law. They also include some companies that aren't necessarily tied directly to psychedelics, but have the potential to be tied to psychedelics, which means their research is very closely aligned with the psychedelic industry. Now, it only started trading earlier in February, so its stock price movement data is pretty limited. It started with an opening price of around $21.20 per share. The ETF dropped to about $20.40. But what's interesting is within 3 days of trading, Psych actually reached $22.15, which is a 5% increase from its open and 9% up from that low. Now, it tested some resistance to that level, but settled to around $20.79 as of the recording of this video. And that's still about 39 cents above its lowest low, but it's about 2% off the debut price and 6% off its highest high. Now, excluding the performance, as you can see, has been a little bouncy. But with the broader market and cannabis headwinds circulating around the market, it's not really unexpected. Excluding its cash, the ETF holds about 26 companies right now. Some are familiar to cannabis investors, while others may not be. Its top three holdings are Intracellular Therapeutics, which trades on the NASDAQ under ITCI. And its second highest holding is Biohaven Pharmaceutical Holding Company Limited, which trades on the New York Stock Exchange under BHVN. Some of its more well-known holdings, at least for cannabis investors, might be ATAI Life Sciences, Jazz Pharmaceuticals, Mind Medicine Meidman Incorporated, and Compass Pathways PLC. But it's the two biggest holdings I kind of want to focus on today. ITCI specializes in developing novel drugs for the treatment of neuropsychiatric or neurologic diseases. Its biggest drug candidate now is Caplyta, and is currently in development for the treatment of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and disturbances associated with dementia and autism. The company is also developing a drug to inhibit the enzymes that are associated with Parkinson's disease. Now, it's scheduled to release its most recent quarterly earnings on March 1st, where analysts do expect a year-over-year decline in earnings, but much higher revenues. One thing to note here is analysts have actually revised the company's EPS 12.5% higher over the last 45 days. Now, the company's stock has saw a good level of volatility in 2021 with a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys in its price. However, in 2022, the stock has seen a nice upward movement. In a month from January 17th to about February 17th, ITCI jumped 48% to the good and reached a new 52-week high price of around $57.49, around $57.49. But the broader market tensions have pushed that price back down to around 55 a share, but it's still very good showing. Its trading ratios are, however, much higher than industry peers. ITCI's price to sales sits at 65.2 compared to the industry average of 18.8. Its price to book ratio is 26.5. The industry average sits at 15.3. So very, very high trading multiples right now for ITCI. Now let's look at Biohaven. This is a biopharma company that's more well known for its Nutric OTD, which is a treatment for acute migraines as well as other migraine-related treatments that are in various stages of clinical trials. It's currently testing drugs to treat Alzheimer's, sclerosis, and other psychiatric issues. Now, BHVN is up nearly 75% from its position 12 months ago and hit a 52-week high back in October of 2021. However, more recently, the stock has jumped nearly 25% since January 17th, but it is still short of its highest high. Both BHVN and ITCI have shown positive movement in stock price. Both are trading well above their peer averages and above their 50-day moving averages. For more insight, however, I want to look at the Money Markets Cannabis Power Rating and look at these two stocks and even throw in another one as a surprise for you. ITCI comes out with a better overall rating of 74 with a strong bullish 98 on momentum. Where it loses out, however, is on value. And as I mentioned, you know, those price multiples, those are very, very high. And it's currently kind of very overvalued compared to its peers. And it scores a 23 on value. Now, BHVN, however, scores a somewhat neutral 40 overall, but a bullish 79 on momentum and a very bearish 17 on value. If you thought ITCI's value metrics were off, BHVN's are probably worse. Well, in fact, they are worse. Now, I added another constituent to the Psych ETF, which is Jazz Pharmaceuticals PLC. Trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker JAZZ. Almost said G. JAZZ. And I found something very interesting. Jazz scores a bullish 90 overall with a bullish 89 on momentum and a neutral 58 on value, but it's leading more into that little more bullish on value. Now, this leads me to believe that out of the three, Jazz might actually be the best buy option for you in terms of looking at it looking at it with different matrix involved. Now, Jazz's stock chart suggests it might be testing some resistance around $140 after falling 15% off of where it was a year ago. Jazz reached a 52-week high of 186.52 back in June of 21 and is 26% down from that presently. But of all the data and trends that I see, it's important to understand that in the case of all three of these companies, none are yet profitable. Currently, Jazz has the fastest path to profitability, and BHVN isn't far behind, whereas ITIC is a bit down the road from becoming profitable. The question over whether to invest is rather mixed to me. The ETF is relatively new, so there isn't a lot of trend data to base any kind of recommendation on. But the bottom line is that if you're investing in the psychedelic market, you have to be willing to play a very long game here. Gains aren't going to happen overnight. They may not even happen this year. In fact, I don't think they will. This is a very new sector of the market. The price of the ETF certainly isn't bad, especially when you compare it to its holdings. So if you're looking for a cheaper way or maybe an undervalued way of getting into the market with a little more diversity and the potential for a dividend yield, then I say Psych, PSYK, is certainly the way to go. Now, if you do have a question about a cannabis stock or maybe the broader market, email me. My email address is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com, or you can comment down below here on YouTube. And if you send us a question and we use it, we are going to get you some free Money and Markets gear like t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all sorts of good stuff we will send out your way. Don't forget about all the great content we have on our YouTube channel. It is the best investment insight, and it is yours absolutely free. You can follow me on Twitter. I give you even more insight, not just the cannabis market, but the broader market, sports, kind of a range of things. Have had a lot of nice uptick in following. Thank you for following me. If you follow me, I will follow you back. My Twitter handle is investwithmattc. That's investwithmattc. All that on Twitter. Thank you for all of you who watch our videos each and every week. Adam, Charles, myself, our entire team, we do it because we want to bring you the most profitable investment information to you for free. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money Markets, your host of the Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.